We're getting a little cozy today because today we are talking about 5 mindset shifts that every entrepreneur, creative or not, needs to make to be a successful business owner. I've got my mug from Target that you probably have too. Let's get into it. So on this channel, I talk a lot about strategy because you really do need to have a foundational business strategy to run a successful business. That's really important. But something that is equally important, if not more important, is your mindset in running a business. Listen, I am in so many different photographer Facebook groups, creative business groups, all kinds of communities, and constantly I hear a lot of the same, not complaints, but the same statements that people are making, and I've seen that there's a common trend between a lot of them. And that common thread is there is a backing limiting belief that is causing people to think these things and to say these things. So that's what we're going over in this video. And the first limiting belief that I hear all the time is that the industry is too saturated. There's too many photographers out there. Everybody is only charging $100 for a 5-hour photo shoot or something ridiculous like that. Now, one way to shift this mindset is to, instead of looking at it as, oh, the industry is too saturated, if it's saturated, that means that there's a demand for the service that you're offering. And that's amazing. Later in this video, I will get into how we can work on shifting this mindset, because I know it's one thing to just say, oh, okay, there's demand, but it's a whole other thing to act like that and to really feel that in yourself, in your day-to-day life and work. How I like to shift this is, like I said, know that there's demand for what I offer, but also I tell myself that everybody has a photographer, or insert business line here, for them. And also, nobody is you. And that's where personal branding comes in and why I lean so heavily into building a personal brand, because that is a unique differentiating factor that everybody has, and it is the easiest one for you to access because it is you. Also, on the flip side of that, you have clients that are perfect for you. So your clients have photographers or whoever that are perfect for them. You have clients that are perfect for you. And by being yourself and being your own personal brand on social media, you can connect to them and you can find them. And that's why I talk so heavily about content marketing in a previous video. Another limiting belief that I hear all the time is that, oh, nobody's gonna buy this, or nobody can afford this service that I do. That is also untrue. You can make money doing pretty much anything these days. And if you're here, I am betting that you provide a service of value. People pay for value. You can get paid for your art and for being a creative, contrary to popular belief. And along these same lines, I hear a lot of talk about, oh, like, get a real job. You can't make money as a photographer or a creative or whatever. Yes, you can, and it really hurts my soul when I hear that, because I also fed into that belief for a long time. I used to be a software engineer. I had people telling me all the time, like, I can't believe you're leaving your engineering job to be a photographer. Like, are you okay? Or even worse, people would say, at least your husband still has a good job. Like, rude. But luckily, I know now that it is possible to be a successful creative and to have a career as a creative if that is what you want. I have people that pay my high ticket rates and even beyond what I ever thought I could charge for photography. It's real. You can do it, but we first have to shift that belief, because if you don't believe it yourself, you are not going to be able to sell higher ticket packages. Another thing to keep in mind is that just because you aren't necessarily willing to pay a rate that you charge doesn't mean other people aren't. And I know that sounds a little bit weird, but oftentimes we are not our own ideal client. And that's okay, because other people are. I am not my own ideal client, so it takes me a little bit more work to do that market research, but it's worked out fine for me. The third limiting belief that I hear a lot is not necessarily like a single belief, but more of a situation where people are like, oh, I tried this and it didn't work for me. A profitable creative knows that you should strive for iteration over perfection. I talk about this a lot. This is something you will hear me say over and over and over again. And I prefer this phrase, over progress over perfection, because iteration means to do something. Let us take the iPhone, for example. If we look at the very first iPhone that came out versus the iPhone that we have today, can we just look at the difference between these two? Crazy. And the reason that it's been able to get so good is because it has iterated. It has released a new version and new features every year. All businesses do this. Look at all other phone providers, TVs, cameras, whatever it is, all products get better over time. The reason it's so difficult for us as creatives is because our work is our art. It's like a piece of our soul. So when we put something out there and it doesn't hit the mark, or it doesn't sell, or people don't receive it the way you expected it to, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means we have to tweak something. Again, this goes back to the video I was talking about, your profit pillars. You have to find the combination of knob turning and different strings that you have to pull that works for you. Here's another example of the same situation. I see a lot of people consuming all of this knowledge, all of this education, and I love that. I love that you love to learn, but we still have to iterate. Let's look at playing piano. You cannot learn how to play the piano just by watching piano tutorials on YouTube. You have to actually play. And is anybody good the first time they play piano or an instrument or pick up a camera or start designing or drawing for the first time? No. We all have trash when we first start, and that's okay because the trash is necessary to produce the art. So I feel like that example is a lot more tangible, but the same also applies when it comes to business, the way we communicate to people, the sales emails that we put together, our websites, any kind of marketing, promo, businessy stuff that we put together, that all also requires iteration. So if something doesn't work or if something fails, it's not a failure. Or maybe you can call it a failure, whatever. But that process, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, it's necessary to get better. So don't look at it as, oh my gosh, this thing didn't sell, I'm going to be a terrible business owner, I quit, I'm going to have to find another job. Rather than falling down that spiral all the time, which it's going to happen, but it helps when you can catch yourself. Know that that is part of the process and that you are getting better by failing and by knowing that you need to change things. And finally, the last limiting belief or mindset shift that we need to make is to begin to embrace constructive criticism. This is kind of in line with iteration over perfection. Sometimes it's hard for us to objectively look at our own work and say, okay, here's exactly what I need to change to make it better, here are the things, because we're so attached to it, and that's okay. So having an outside party come in and objectively provide constructive criticism or tips for improvement, I don't like the word criticism, that's what's going to help us get better. I said this before, but the key is to find someone that you trust and not a rando on the internet. Don't just go into huge random Facebook groups where you don't know the people or what the vibe is like and say, oh, I need CC on this. Recipe for disaster. And also, when you have a group that large, everybody has different tastes. So you're going to get conflicting feedback. So what I would recommend is finding somebody that is in line with your work, your style. Maybe there's something that they do in their business or their work that you really like, and you want them to take a look at your work through their lens. That's who I would recommend you get constructive criticism from. Okay, so we've talked about the 5 different mindset shifts and limiting beliefs. Now, how do we actually take tangible steps to shift that? It's hard because there's not like a concrete to-do list or action item, and this takes time. It doesn't happen overnight at all. But the first tool or strategy, if you even want to call it that I use is to develop my self-awareness. And I have found 2 methods or techniques that work for me. The first is journaling, and the second is meditation. I highly, highly, highly recommend the book, The Artist's Way, especially if you are a creative, because she breaks down creativity and how to nourish your creativity in the best way that I have seen. I really resonate with this book, but my biggest takeaway from it is enacting morning pages. And what that means is every morning, as soon as I wake up, I write 3 pages of thoughts. It doesn't have to be structured. It shouldn't be structured. It is literally just a brain dump of your thoughts, feelings, emotions, whatever comes up. And over time, because I've been doing this so consistently, I am able to see trends in my thought patterns and see, okay, where did this idea or belief come from? Did something happen to me that week that made me think this way? And it just helps me build that self-awareness muscle to realize where things are coming from and know that I might be thinking these things, but they aren't necessarily my own thoughts. Like maybe I had a situation happen where somebody else projected something onto me, and then I've just like taken that to heart when maybe it's not true. The second tool that I use a lot is meditation, and I like to do this after I journal. I try to do this pretty consistently as well. Insight Timer is a free app. There's a paid version. There's tons of different teachers and tracks, music, meditation. So you will need to search around and try different things, but I'm sure you'll find an instructor on that app if meditation is the avenue for you. Like I said, this is what works for me. It might work for you, but you might find that maybe exercising, riding a bike, going outside, swimming, something else might be better for you, and that's okay. We just have to find out what that self-awareness tool is. The second thing that I like to do to help shift these mindsets is to meet with a group of peers regularly. I prefer to find a group of people, a small group, where we meet monthly or every other week. I have a few groups of people that I do this with. And the key is to have them be other business owners. Because as much as I would love to talk to my husband and talk to my friends who don't run businesses about my business, sometimes they just don't get things. I mean, they're very supportive, and I am so appreciative for everything they've done, but sometimes they don't get it. It's hard to understand it until you are actually a business owner yourself, which is why I recommend finding these groups. You can look for local Facebook groups, check out meetup.com, or form your own. Now, if you are looking for a community of like-minded entrepreneurs who get it, you can check out my business coaching program called the Business Side Blueprint. It is a month-to-month program. You can opt out at any time, and in it, we have opportunities to meet weekly. We have weekly group coaching calls, and we have opportunities to iterate because we offer website audits and creative and copy audits. If you want somebody to take an objective look at your work and provide that iterative feedback, that helps us get better. The doors are open for a limited time, and the link is in the description to either join now or get on the wait list for the next time the door opens. I am almost done with my tea here, but I would love to hear what mindset shifts you have made, or maybe something that you're working through right now. I know there's so much that we could talk about it, but I want to hear it. Leave it in the comments. I would love to hear from you, and we can chat through different practices that you do to help work through these things. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it with a business bestie or a business friend, and I will see you in the next one.